Good morning, church. It's Josh Turner again from Washington. Thank you for letting me be part of your services, and peace be for all of you. So I was thinking today about our responsibilities to each other. And what I mean by that is as partners. So there's a difference between the words man and woman and husband and wife. Woman is not the same word as wife, and husband is not the same word as man. And I think in our culture of today, we've confused these things and made them interchangeable. And in that, we've removed some of the meaning of what it means to be one of these things. So I have a good example today of what it looks like to have a difference. So if you own any kind of land or property or anything like that, one thing you'll know is that the land has to be worked. It has to be dealt with and wrangled and put under your dominion for it to actually work correctly. Now, many people, many different kinds of people can own land and property, but that does not mean that they are a husband of the land. Now, I know that might sound a little weird, but Noah was called a husband of the land. And what that means is you take care of it. You are its steward. You look out for its best interest. You are its guardian. I heard a wise man say, well, at least I consider him wise. He said, men and women shouldn't live together. They shouldn't coexist together because they're complete opposites. They deal with things differently, and they're like oil and water. And what he said after that was, but husbands and wives, they were built to be together. And this is the difference. When you take on a wife or a husband, you don't stay the same. You don't move from woman who was single to now woman who is married. You move from woman who was single to wife who has a husband. Likewise with the man, you don't move from man who is single to now man who has a wife. You move from man to husband. That's the transition. So this is a good example of what the land can look like when it's owned by a husband or if it's owned by just an owner. So this part of the land looks like it's owned by just an owner. Weeds growing up, grass growing up, not taken care of. Now this other part of the land looks like it's taken care of by a husband. Ready to use, ready to go, taken care of. That's the difference. This difference comes with dogs too. There's a difference between a dog owner and the dog's handler. The owner buys the dog, lets the dog just do what it wants. The handler guides the dog, lets it know when it's doing something it shouldn't. It also takes advice from the dog. It watches the dog so the dog can let the handler know if something's wrong, if he needs to watch out for danger. They exist together. They are not singular units. The handler and the dog is one unit. Much like the husband and the wife are supposed to be one unit together. There is no husband without a wife, much like there is no wife without the husband. This is how the Christian should be. There is no Christian without Jesus next to them. There is no Christian who puts themselves first. Because if you put yourself first, then by definition, you've moved out of the character of Christian and into something else. Because the Christian is called to love. And to love means to put yourself behind the interests of the things that you love. Whether it's your relationship with Jesus, your relationship with your husband or wife, or whether you find yourself married yet still living as man and woman, putting yourself to the side and putting your partner's interest above you will help. Figure out why you're just a man and not a husband. Do you put yourself first and then everything else comes later? Figure out why you're a woman and not a wife. Are you waiting for what he's going to give you before you give him what he needs? We're supposed to do this together. We were given a helper, not a pacifier, not just someone to sit in a room with us. One flesh. You leave your father and your mother, cling to your wife. Go in peace, church. I love you all.